is going to bring up a big thing coming for us. My name is Tony Thomas, and you're watching Hardwired Exotics on YouTube. What's going on YouTube? So, unfortunately, we weren't able to do any filming yesterday just because it's such a hectic day. Cassie had a doctor's appointment. We had to drop off Snake FedEx to have him shipped out. But anyway, long story short, yesterday we came up to South Carolina where Chris is now living. I'll let him explain that again in a second. He asked us to do some drone footage work for him and check out his new property, and in particular a building that's on the property that you're fixing to see, and whether or not it is worth fixing and putting possibly a rat building and or snake building, or some, I don't know, we're gonna bounce some ideas around. But a lot of times people move on to properties and they have stuff that they sometimes can use for their business, so we're just gonna take a look at. I haven't looked at the building yet, so you're gonna get my first impression of this building and see what happens with it. But anyway, Chris is going to fill you in on what's been going on with him.
Alright, so I think in the last video you guys saw, we were in the house that we moved to 6 weeks after we moved to that house, that Tony helped us move into that house. I got laid off, and so we were looking for a job, and I picked up a job here, and it's halfway between Charlotte and Columbia. We had an opportunity now to move out a little more into the country side of things and get a little bit more property. That's something my wife Grace and I have been wanting to do, was to get more property. When you saw us move the first time, Tony and Cassie helped us move from a 0.15 acre to a half acre. We now have 4.76 acres that we've got, and there's a 1,800 square foot house on it. There's a small shed next to the house. There's a old barn that we're gonna try and save on the property, and then there's this shed. It was almost kind of like a built-in place house. We found out that the people that originally built this house in 1935, they had a son who was in the Marine Corps, and when he went away and he needs a place to store some stuff, they built almost a small single-room house to store his stuff in. And I don't know how old the building is, but it's had trees grown into it. When you guys are going to see it, I've cleared out almost all the trees. You'll see one big tree's down, and we got one small tree still to get out that's actually grown into the roof. But we're hoping that the studs and the joists and that kind of stuff are good, and that maybe we can save the building with only doing some new sheathing. But we also need to move the building to the opposite side of the yard, because that's where we would like to eventually put a garage, and inside that garage would be an insulated, thermally controlled snake room. So that's the long-term vision, but we might need something to get us in between, and that's where this building might become the snake building first, and then once the garage is built, move the snakes into there, and then it becomes a good rat shed.
Yep.
So that's kind of the thought process. Tony and I are going to kick some ideas around. Tony's got a lot of experience reusing different buildings to make his own snake building, so I thought I'd lean on him and get some information and get some ideas.
Yep. For those that don't personally know us, me and Cassie moved into a house that was built in the, what I believe is going to be the late 30s. And we've completely reamped this entire house and the shop that went along with it. So, yeah, I've got a lot of experience when it comes to doing this. Anyway, let's go check this out. I haven't seen this, so you're going to get my first initial impression. A part of moving and building new facilities and trying to get your snake and rats in certain situations, even if it's temporary, is going to bring up a big thing coming for us that you'll hear about very soon. So y'all stay tuned to that as well. Fixing to be in touch with one of the big dogs as this video keeps going, because it's going to be a couple of days of filming. So anyway, stay tuned. A lot of stuff fixing to happen real quick, but let's go check this building out.
Alright, so as you can see, I did take down the one big sweet gum there. I took down a lot of other trees earlier, but this one I hadn't had time. It's been neglected for years. So this tree was growing up there. You can see it's been getting into there, and if you come over here, the bottom is pushing in. I already cleared out a while before you guys came here, the small stuff, but you know, it's got some obviously water damage. I don't know if we can just maybe take all the sheathing down and save it. It's got actual boards, not decking. So it's got good thick 3/4 inch up there. I would take out these windows and replace new windows. My wife would want to restore these for the historic preservation in her. She's got a degree in historic preservation, so she loves fixing things if she can. I took down this tree and this one. I've just been cleaning up the edges here, just trying to get ready for facades. I mean, you can see back in here, that's how good it is. So obviously the sheathing needs to be replaced. This tree was pushing in up top. That's why I took that one down. We had a whole bunch of little stuff pushing up against in here. And when you go in, the floor, the sheathing is sketchy, but you can still feel it's got some good structure to it. We haven't done any pulling down. I mean, you look on the inside here, and it looks like the roof's actually not in horrible shape.
Alright, so those that don't know, the worst enemy that wood has is water.
Like that over there where you see all the water stain marks coming down.
Yeah.
There's obviously been a leak in the roof over there, so we expect to find a lot of damage back there.
So, when it comes to wood, if it gets wet, it starts to rot. First thing I noticed about this building is it's built on blocks.
Yep.
So that's a huge benefit to keeping the floor up off the ground, which means keep it away from moisture. So we'll check out the bottom of this thing in a second, but these rafters look really solid, which is definitely a good thing.
Surprise.
Majority of your money in a small building like this is spent on your ceilings, your roof, and your floors. The studs around the edge aren't that expensive. Well,
now they are.
Now they are, but in the theory of things, the stud for your walls and windows and things aren't that expensive. So what you want to look for is a solid floor, solid roof.
That's what I was talking about, where you have actual boards.
Yep.
Making up the ceiling.
Yep. And I can actually see
the paper through it on the ridge bed and stuff.
That looks like a modern paper. So
yeah, I might have been re-roofed at one point.
I think it was.
But you know, I mean, it would almost be worth it even just to take down those boards.
Yep. And
throw up new OSB sheathing as opposed to boards. If you need and reuse those boards on another project.
Put metal.
Yeah.
Strip it and put metal.
Yep.
Yeah, I think your ceiling's gonna be fine. I mean, I would tear out a hole in the back just to see.
Now that's not against obviously mold, but that was expected.
You can tell that the sheetrock's not crumbling. You can tell it's holding moisture.
Well, that's actually part of the design of sheetrock is to hold moisture for fire protection.
Yep.
That's why they actually put them in a lot of gun safes. It's actually not bad. There's not as much mold as I was expecting.
So while Chris is kind of tearing that down, what's the measurements on this thing? It's probably what 14 foot, 16 foot long.
Something. I mean, it's
probably 12 foot wide.
Well, I can do 6'3" finger to fingertip, so
10 foot wide, 10 by 14, 10 by 16.
It's fairly big. Now, see that one has a little bit. That one has a little bit of damage on that joist. Not a lot, but.
Alright, so we tore a chunk of sheetrock out of the ceiling and out of this walls, and I don't see any water damage, so feels like pretty solid here. Something you'll notice too is this bracing. It's something they done in the older days, and lemon bracing?
Let-in bracing.
Let-in bracing.
We can call it let-in bracing. You have to let in to the stud to let the diagonal come in.
So this lead-in bracing is more structurally sound for what they used to build. So that's a good sign that the building itself is built well. So looks like we're on 16-inch centers too. So
I think that if we clean this out, resheath it, it'll be solid enough to move.
I think so too. So let's take a look under the floor. All right, so let me show you something under here. So these are 2x8s, and they're actually pretty solid. The problem is there's no bracing in the center. That's easy fixable. So what we do is once you move the shelter, instead of it just being supported on the sides, in the middle on the edges, you would support it all the way down the middle to forgive something. But those 2x8s are really solid.
Yeah.
I think this is completely fixable.
Yep, me too.
So here's what you would think.
And here, this is a good one too. You see the press board underneath. What are you talking about?
Yep. Yeah. Extra layer press board. So this actually helped maintain a lot of your structure from getting messed up.
Yeah, they double sheathed it.
Yep. And somebody's definitely put a roof on top of that wood. So I think it's completely sound. I think you're good to go. Just got to figure out how to move it and revamp it. But with today's wood prices like they are, I think it's definitely smarter to try to fix this than it is to go buy a new one.
Still in about $2,000 at least in wood to put this back together.
Absolutely.
But it's a lot cheaper than a big building.
Yeah, we just bought a 10x14 and got a fantastic deal at $4,000.
Yeah.
I mean, most of the time they're $5,000 right now.
So yeah, it's definitely worth saving. But yeah, it's gonna take a little bit of work, but I think, you know, and then I'm gonna have to see how crazy my wife goes and trying to restore these windows and put them somewhere else.
I think it's solid. So just to make a point again, for people that are moving to a new area or have stuff like this and they need somewhere to put rats or even snakes, don't always rule out these old buildings. Yeah, it may take some work, but sometimes that work is going to be cheaper than buying new stuff. So
yep.
I think it's a good idea. So let's go check out some snakes. All right, so we are now in Chris's room, or Chris's snake room rather. Not going to talk super loud because the kids are over there asleep. Finally.
Yep.
But anyway, so we I just wanted Chris to kind of give y'all a heads up on stuff that he has cooking in the incubator and some pairings that he's doing this year, and figured I'd just showcase his projects for this year. So go on with it.
Well, I think we started off with a lot of Hypo Clown and Hypo Pied stuff this year. I think I've got 2 Hypo Clown clutches and 3 Hypo Pied clutches going to be coming. And then with moving and everything else, I didn't get on as many breeding pairs as I want. I don't think I have much in the way of the Super Mystic Potion stuff that I've been doing lately. I still got a couple of the males, some really cool ones though that haven't sold yet. But I think mainly it's going to be Hypo Clown and Hypo Pied stuff.
Yeah. Show that pastel inchy.
No, it's a Super Inchy Mystic Potion.
Super
It's a male, and I can just for comparison to his father. This is Mystic Potion Enchi. So the difference is that that one's got an extra copy of the Enchi gene.
Nice. Look what the Inchy, Super Inchy does. Even Inchy Mystic Potion looks great.
This is what we think is a Super Mojave Enchi with coconut dust all over it, of course. But just a unique looking Super Mojave. Her eye stripes are super light. I don't know if we can get her face to show up there with those really light eye stripes. But I'm pretty sure she'll prove to have Enchi, but no guarantee.
Looks more yellow and lighter.
The only difference between these two is Super Mystic versus Mystic Potion. So you have a Super Enchi Mystic Potion and a Super Enchi Super Mystic.
Wow. Sweet.
Thanks for watching Hardwired Exotics, and make sure you subscribe. Bye!